A former GBPA executive is responding to a floating proposal from an investor to the Port Authority to take over Freeport's management as it relates to administration, development, and infrastructure upkeep. Simone Davis has that story.
Last week, members of the concerned Freeport Licensees Association convened for a crucial meeting, and discussions led to a proposal aimed to transform the governance structure of the Grand Bahama Port Authority by relinquishing the GBPA's regulatory and administrative powers and transferring them into a trust framework under the oversight of a 5-person board of trustees. Now, back in 2012, a former GBPA executive, Dillion Knowles, presented a similar proposal to the GBPA for a city manager to administer Freeport and take over responsibility for its administration, development, and infrastructure upkeep.
I don't know if they're piggybacking on that proposal that I made back in 2012 or not. I'm not sure. I haven't actually had a discussion with anybody specifically on it.
Knowles pointed out that this new proposal bore some resemblance to Clause 4B of the Hawksbill Creek Agreement, which provides an exit route for the Port Authority's owners, developers, by allowing them to delegate their quasi-governmental or regulatory powers to a local government once 80% of licensees agree. Now, when asked whether he believes presenting such a plan to the GBPA would result in any improvement, this was his response.
I don't think that a presentation to GBPA per se will garner much of anything. I think it has to be taking advantage of this current, I want to call it a dialogue, even though it's not, it seems to be somewhat acrimonious. But this dialogue between the government and the Port Authority for the licensees to come together and insert themselves into that discussion. Because this is a discussion that needs to be had between the three parties.
However, Knowles added that given the current state of the GBPA as it relates to its relationship with the government, it is important that licensees are educated about their strengths and restrictions under the Hawksbill Creek Agreement.
That meeting was focused on trying to ensure that the licensees understand the Hawksbill Creek Agreement, their benefits under the Hawksbill Creek Agreement, and their authority under the Hawksbill Creek Agreement, as licensees generally have been disengaged from the process over all of these many decades, and we're significantly at risk in any discussions, especially any discussions that are about to happen, which we assume will happen between the government and the Port Authority, given the government's recent pronouncements, public pronouncements about its relationship with the Port Authority.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Simone Davis.